Okay, one more quick break. When we come back, this owl is a real who's who. I'm telling you, you'll want to stick around. One last thing is next. Everyone loves an underdog story, but what about an underbird story?
Now, are you a birder, Bill? You seem to know a lot about birds. How did you get so invested in this story?
Well, I'm not a birder per se, but I do like celebrity-type birds.
That's ABC's Bill Hutchinson talking about what's perhaps become New York City's most famous fugitive.
Flaco the owl is a Eurasian eagle owl, and what's rare about him is he is believed to be the only Eurasian eagle owl on the loose in the wilds of North America. And the interesting part about Flaco is his story starts with a crime.
Until last year, Flaco the owl had lived his entire life in the Central Park Zoo. But exactly 1 year ago today, someone cut a hole through his cage.
And he just walked out of the cage, walked through the hole that was cut into the mesh lining of his cage, and bolted into the wilds of New York City.
Flaco has become a bona fide celebrity in Manhattan. Birders watch him pop up in various trees, but he started spreading his wings further. Soon, he alighted on the sidewalk on Fifth Avenue.
And that just shocked people, drew a crowd, also drew the NYPD, who didn't seem to really know what to do with him at first, and they put out some caution tape to sort of cordon him off so that people couldn't get close to him. And then they put a cage out on the sidewalk, thinking, I guess, that he was going to just surrender.
That didn't happen, of course. Flaco flew away, and over the last year, he started exploring other parts of town.
He gets around. He's been not just in Central Park, but down in the Lower East Side. He started to roost or perch in private gardens, on terraces, on people's window ledges.
Oh my God, you're so beautiful. So beautiful. I was in my kitchen and I have my phone in my hand and I look over to the window and there's an owl.
One of the reasons he's flying in these wider and wider circles is he's likely looking for a mate. What he doesn't know is there's no mate out there for him. He's the only one of his kind in this part of the world. Scientists had worried that this, along with the fact that he'd never hunted in the wild, would put him at risk. But instead, after a year on the loose, Flaco's thriving.
They pretty much gave up on capturing him maybe 2 weeks after he escaped. Right now, they've decided just to let him be a free bird. He proved them all wrong. Very quickly, actually. He was able to adapt to his new environment in a free world and learn to catch rats on his own. And New York City has a really, really bad rat problem. So anything that could exterminate that is a welcome in New York.
The following has steadily risen, not just from New Yorkers, but around the world. People have been sharing videos of Flaco's location, sightings of him. He's even become a muse for writers, photographers, and artists. Our reporter, Bill Hutchinson, has painted a series of Flaco portraits, these vividly colorful depictions of the owl in various scenarios, with construction workers and Fifth Avenue shoppers.
I think people like the underdog story. And he was the underdog, definitely, because nobody thought he could survive out there. And he did. And he showed resilience, and that sort of enamored him to people's interest in cheering for him to be free.
One of my favorite honorary New Yorkers is the author E.B. White. He wrote about animals. You probably know Charlotte's Web. E.B. White once said about New York that people born here take the city for granted. The commuters give it a sense of restlessness. But then there are the outsiders, the transplants, the ones who came here roaming the city in quest of something bigger. Those, he said, give the city its passion. That's what I think has rallied people around Flaco. Of course, if you were to ask him about his celebrity status, he'd probably just play it modest and say, "Who, me?" I was blown blown away by Bill's portraits, by the way. You can see them in his story on abcnews.com. Just look for his reporting on the 1-year anniversary of Flaco'S freedom. Start Here is produced by Kelly Therese, Jen Newman, Brenda Salinas Baker, Vika Aronson, Cameron Chertavian, Anthony Ali, Madeline Wood, and Tara Gimbel. Ariel Chester is our social media producer. Josh Cohan is director of podcast programming. I'm our managing editor. Laura Mayer is our executive producer. Thanks to Lakia Brown, John Newman, and Liz Alessi. Special thanks this week to Jonah Haskell, Chris Berry, Dana Schaefer, Lion Caldera, Eric Strauss, and Ann Flaherty. I'm Brad Milkey. See you next week.